Hello, my name is Rick Teague, and I'm an attorney with 2 law degrees, and my wife Michelle and I have been in the network marketing profession for over 31 years, and we're recently listed in the industry's top 250 lifetime earners with career earnings of right at $10 million. But in recent years, we have become trapped in the undesirable pattern of having to change companies and rebuild every 3 to 4 years, which in late 2013 placed us at a real crossroads. Either continue that pattern or get serious about finding our final company. And the starting point for doing so was the quote, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting different results," which led us to the brilliant conclusion that for us to get different results, we had to find and do something different. But what is different? Different in a way that really makes a difference. The more we searched, the more obvious it became that most people really don't know what different is, which is perfectly illustrated by this quote from Henry Ford. If I had asked the people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses, clearly because they didn't yet know that something called a car was even possible. So said another way, as we continued the most exhaustive search of our career for something different, all we could essentially see were faster horses and shinier buggies until on January 28, 2014, we discovered the car, and that car is called Modere. And to fully understand why it is truly different, you must first understand some basic concepts about something called the S-curve. In network marketing companies, the S-curve is divided into 4 phases: formulation, concentration, momentum, and stability. As a rule, companies are more opportunity and recruiting driven at the bottom of the curve and are more customer and retail driven at the top of the curve. Further, the greatest amount of income by far is earned in stability because company volume is the highest and it lasts by far the longest, but the vast majority of top earners start building in formulation or concentration, and the magic that creates that income occurs in momentum. Said another way, most top earners join in pre-momentum, build the company into momentum, and then earn the majority of their income in stability or post-momentum. However, everything we just covered has one huge caveat. That is how it is supposed to happen if everything goes to plan, which most of the time it doesn't with most companies. In a nutshell, if you want optimal results for your effort in network marketing, you must get in early, but in a company that actually gets big and then stays big. In fact, you need a real S-curve, which requires early, get big, stay big. And while the early part is self-evident, the key to getting big is horsepower, and the key to staying big is customers. And the vast majority of companies simply don't have nearly enough of either. For example, many companies have inexperienced management, minimal assets and funding, and razor-thin margins because of outsourced products, minimal buying power, and rented facilities. And as for customers, most companies have narrow product lines that attract minimal customers convinced to buy products, and a ridiculously defective value proposition that includes ultra-high pricing and shipping, opportunity-focused websites, no rewards program, etc., etc., etc. This lack of horsepower in customers almost always results in either flatline companies that are early but simply don't have the horsepower to ever hit momentum, which will eventually wear you out, or pop and drops that are actually in momentum, but because of their lack of customers, they build on an opportunity bubble, which will inevitably burst as the company attempts to transition into stability, which turns your S-curve into a bell curve and crumbles your income. Or a dropping company whose bubble has already burst and you are already crashing and burning without even realizing it. Or perhaps you're with a company that is actually in stability, but it's too late to get optimal results for your time and effort. In stark contrast, Modere is obviously early, but also has the massive horsepower to get huge and the most powerful customer generating model on the planet, which is called social retail. First, let's look at our massive horsepower, which starts with CEO Robert Conley, who was one of 3 to 4 key Nu Skin executives originally tasked with taking it to $1 billion annually, which they in fact did. And while many people talk about creating a billion-dollar company and never do, Robert Conley has actually done it and is doing it again with Modere. Next, we have a truly historic transformation. Modere is literally the first and only virtually unknown, authentic ground floor company with the physical assets and infrastructure of a multi-billion-dollar company. This is because it's built on the $100 million foundation of an existing 28-year-old, 30-country, $300 million a year company that's done close to $7 billion in sales in the last 15 years, and that is backed by $2.3 billion in assets, but has totally new ownership, management, name, business model, financial power, branding and marketing teams, technology, product lines, and compensation plan. Here are just a few pictures of some of its massive global infrastructure, including its headquarters in Springville, Utah, new Korean headquarters, and a gigantic 380,000 square foot manufacturing, distribution, and research facility you can fit 4 to 5 Costco's into, and its newly announced marketing center in Newport Beach, California. And because we manufacture our own products and have massive buying power and assets, we have the margins required to deliver ultra high quality products and competitive prices with an ultra aggressive compensation plan and a research and development budget for future products, advantages that mean no competition and that have never ever existed in a pre-momentum ground floor company. Now let's examine our social retail model. When you merely compete, you confine yourself to an existing market space which you fight with your competition over and eventually stagnate as a company. Conversely, when you disrupt, you separate from your competition by creating new uncontested market space which you dominate, which is exactly what Netflix did to get a 57% market share in movies, Uber did to get a 46% market share in taxis, and Amazon did to get a 41% market share in books. And obviously, disruption can earn you a fortune, and disruption is exactly what Modere is doing by combining the most powerful features of 4 huge industries. Products from the $1.4 trillion everyday essentials industry, branding from the $15 trillion retail industry, marketing from the $226 billion social shopping industry, and compensation from the $182 billion network marketing industry. And this disruptive model is called social retail. To further explore social retail, let's start with our Everyday Essentials product line, which we are irresistibly attracting people to with cutting-edge, flagship Trojan horse products that are created by our master product formulator, Greg Horn. For 11 years, Greg was the CEO of GNC, the world's largest nutrition retailer, taking its annual sales from $400 million to $1.5 billion. Further, he was CEO of Garden of Life, the world's largest natural products company, and in total has created 7 different $100 million a year nutrition-related companies. In short, Greg arguably has the strongest resume and deepest connections within the global wellness industry, which empowers him to create a unique and unrivaled future pipeline of flagship products, starting with our breakthrough M3 weight management system. After being attracted to Modere by our flagship products, people are then introduced to our Live Clean mission, which is rapidly becoming one of today's hottest trends.
Welcome to Modere. This is an invitation to change the way you experience everyday essentials to create a richer, healthier lifestyle.
Our world, and particularly our homes, are full of toxins. Science shows that 70% of aging is due to environmental factors and lifestyle choices.
Like your diet, pollution, and commonly used ingredients in the products in our homes, these can have significant negative impact on our health, and they are a major contributor to rising rates of man-made diseases.
Our mission is to help people experience the power of living clean and create a long-lasting opportunity for everyday entrepreneurs.
And finally, after learning the critical importance of living clean, people automatically transition right into our Everyday Essentials line of over 100 high-performance, clean-label, stylish products for skin, hair, body, dental, kitchen, household, wellness, anti-aging, and weight management. And most importantly, this product line has 4 huge advantages from an income earning standpoint. And the first is called redirect buying, which means that everyone is already buying everyday essentials from somewhere. So when they purchase them from us, they are simply redirecting dollars to Modere without spending new dollars, which again is the exact same strategy used by Netflix with movies, Uber with taxi rides, and Amazon with books. The second advantage is that we have a $1.4 trillion a year global market for these products, as shown by these enormous numbers. And the third advantage is daily consumption and perpetual reordering. And the fourth mission critical advantage is that we have a broad product line, just like every single one of the 10 largest network marketing companies in the world. In short, narrow product lines attract narrow customer bases, pop and drop companies, and minimal residual income, whereas broad product lines attract broad customer bases, billion-dollar legacy companies, and maximum residual income. The next component of social retail is our Fortune 500 class retail branding, which is the creation of Chief Branding Officer Bob Finnegan, who is unrivaled in network marketing and known in the retail world as a branding savant, mainly because he's been instrumental in branding all these billion-dollar brands. And our branding is so strong that we were arguably the first company in history to be featured at the Oscars when we were just 2 weeks old. And we were also just featured at the 2015 Emmys. Next, let's look at the social shopping marketing component of Modere. First and foremost, online sales are exploding, and by far the fastest growing segment of online sales is called social shopping. Birchbox has racked up almost 1 million customers in 3 years. Gilt has attracted 6 million customers in 6 years, and Wanilo has topped 10 million customers in less than 3 years. The point? Modere is using virtually all of the most powerful features used not only by Birchbox, Gilt, and Wanilo, but also, once again, Netflix, Uber, and Amazon, including a dedicated retail site, promo codes, skip-the-trip home delivery, cutting-edge apps with one-click ordering, barcode scanning, flash sales, push notifications, sophisticated email campaigns, viral social media systems, a Give, Get, Share program, and an over-the-top customer loyalty program with available free shipping, free samples in every order, birthday products, etc., etc. And all these tactics will be even further accelerated by our recently announced new Chief Marketing Officer and Digital Marketing Guru, Vic Catofamo, who pioneered digital marketing strategies and secured 24 global patents at $83 billion a year consumer products giant Procter & Gamble. And finally, let's explore the network marketing component of Modere. As this chart shows, the network marketing profession has exploded to $182 billion per year globally, which is roughly 20 times larger than the National Football League. Also, it's now paying out approximately $200 million per day in commissions, and many experts predict that the entire industry will hit a massive tipping point over the next 4 to 5 years and could realistically hit $1 trillion a year by 2030. Yet in spite of this exploding growth, there are a couple of major problems in the industry that present a huge opportunity for the company that can solve them, and the first pertains to the bell curve problem that we've already described, which forces people to repeatedly jump on companies when they pop, then off as they drop, which in turn devastates leaders and their income, and more customers are the solution to this problem. The second huge problem deals with regulatory issues pertaining to an insufficient ratio of customers, which is the core issue in the FTC Herbalife matter, Avon leaving the DSA, and the recent Vima action. And these key industry influencers all agree that in the near future, all companies will be legally required to have a lot more customers than most now have, and many companies will be forced to close or radically restructure, and that more customers are the clear solution to this problem. And because of everything you've seen so far, Modere generates customers in record numbers. with a 10-to-1 customer to social marketer ratio and rising, over 20,000 new customers just last month, 300,000 to 400,000 total new customers in less than 2 years, and already 20% of all new Modere customers are being referred by other customers, which is unheard of in the industry. Next, here are a few highlights of our very aggressive residual income plans. You can earn up to 40% fast starts, up to 42% on customers, deep generational pay, cutting-edge matching bonuses that are already paying out over $1 million a year to some, and up to $1 million in rank bonuses. And further, we are literally the only network marketing type company who will potentially pay you up to $20,000 in cash and a 5-star escape trip during your first 2 months on as little as 24,000 points. And since documentation beats conversation, last month alone, Modere paid out over 7,000 checks, had $9 million a year earners, and once again, we are not even 2 years old in our oldest market and are just getting started. Before we close, let's look at the big picture of Modere by boiling down what we've already covered to 3 key strategies. We provide superior, safer versions of products that people already buy, which is also known as redirect buying, and do so with superior convenience and a superior experience, which are the identical strategies that Netflix used to annihilate blockbusters, Uber is using to crush the taxi industry, and Amazon used to torpedo Barnes & Noble, and that Modere is using to disrupt companies like these. And to be clear, I'm not saying at all we'll crush them in the same way, but we can all earn absolute fortunes even if we don't, because when you look at this chart, you can see the astonishing results that Netflix, Uber, and Amazon have gotten with almost identical disruptive models, strategies, and tactics in much smaller product markets. So to reduce it to the ridiculous, if we only got a 2% sliver of our $1.4 trillion product market, our annual sales would exceed $28 billion, and we would be the largest company by far in the entire history of this industry. Now for your final reality check. We put in 31 years with 8 companies and earned right at $10 million, and have learned that you can learn things the hard way by your own experience or the easy way by others' experience, including ours. If you want to harness a real S-curve with your final company, we can assure you that it is not about finding a faster horse, a better Luca, or shinier buggy, or a magical comp plan, a product you happen to love, a deal, or even a relationship with someone who may have you wedged in a company that isn't working. To the contrary, it's all about timing, horsepower, the model, and customers, and Modere is light years ahead of anything we've ever experienced on all 4 counts. Our best advice is that massive success often awaits just beyond a paradigm shift. We've had ours, so perhaps it's time for yours. In conclusion, and to get to the final bottom line, here is the current state of Modere with a graph of our social marketer orders, which is clearly trending up. Next, we superimpose this graph onto this chart that plots the build into momentum for 4 publicly traded network marketing companies who are all now doing over $1 billion in annual revenue, which clearly shows an upward inflection point into momentum beginning in year 3. Then when you plot out the current trajectory of Modere, you can clearly see the same inflection or liftoff point in year 3, which for us is 2016, which means that we are currently positioned perfectly. Which leads to the real million-dollar question. Even though every key indicator shows that Modere and network marketing are both on the brink of exploding, there is one more S-curve that has to happen for you to truly capitalize on this perfect storm timing situation, and that is yours. We've often heard that